Hey, I'm back. This is Chandler for Melder Production, and today I'm going to go over a few presets and show how to use MTurboDelay. A few days ago, I made a video, and that was just like a quick walkthrough, but I thought I'd get a little bit more in depth with at least some of the different devices over here. So let's take a look at some of them. Somebody asked how you could actually manipulate some of these. So here you see it says straight 16th notes, and they said, what if instead of doing 1/16th note, you wanted to do 3/16th notes? So I'll show you how you can do that using this first delay alpha. So you see here you have delay A, B, C, and D. So let's just skip these and turn them all off, right? If I go into A, B, C, D here, that's actually what we need, but let me make sure there's nothing else on before we start. Okay, everything looks good. And so now I have 16th notes. Let me play my guitar here so you can hear this. It's a little bit low. So hopefully you can hear that. And if I modify A from 1 to 3, this will be 3/8 notes. So you can actually hear that and like, oh, okay, it is a little bit louder there. So as you heard, that 3/8 notes really works, and you could do the same thing with another division like I don't know, quarter note, etc. So honestly, another easier way to do this would be to use dotted quarter notes or eighth notes, etc. But if you're getting into things like 5 or something else like, let's see, 5/16th notes, then it might be a little bit harder to actually calculate that. So that's a case where something like this is useful. So I just thought I'd go over that quickly. Another thing, I just thought I'd go through some presets I made, some fairly simple ones. So the first one I'll go through is just Hass. So you might find this useful. Sometimes you want that Hass effect where it takes a mono signal and makes it stereo. So this will do this for you fairly easily. And so I didn't increase the output, but you might want to just to make the input and output even. But all you have to do is just look here, play a note, and then make sure the input and output are the same. It's about the same. Without the effect on. And for this, because it's not always mono compatible, you might want to check this in mono. So I can just put it in mono like this. That doesn't sound very good. And one way I can fix that is just by changing this value slightly. Let's try it now. That sounds a little bit better. Now take it out of mono. So you have to kind of check that yourself. And sometimes you may think like, I don't really care if it sounds great in mono. It might be some background part, which is usually what I use this Hass effect for. I don't use it that often, but sometimes using it like maybe a shaker in the background, something you really don't care that if it's in mono, it disappears. It's good for that. So this is just a quick preset you can use for that. And if you want to add some chorusing effect, just increase the mod rate. You might want to do that. It sounds like chorusing, but sometimes you might think, I just want a little bit to make it sound a little bit different. So there you go. Next one I'll go over is somewhat similar. It's 80s clean. So this one I use the digital device, and you see here I have a little bit of width. I'm using 100 milliseconds for the delay. I don't want too much delay on there, and I'm also using some vibrato here. This is just to add some modulation and some reverb. So let's hear it. So you can hear it has that slight chorusing sound to it. So I like that for clean sounds, especially if you like 80s stuff, or even for pop stuff. They use this now, even though it's not the 80s anymore. I think it's coming back, but anyways, you get the idea. And of course, you can mess with the wet dry and all these things if that suits your needs. Next one I'll do is just slapback. This is simple slapback using tape echo. So you can hear it has a little bit of modulation, and if you do things percussively, you can hear those kind of short echoes. So you can mess with the delay times in here. I have some wow and flutter on too, and just a little bit of the age. And of course, it has these tone controls at the bottom, so you can mess with that and do whatever you want. The next one is this. I don't know if you'll get too much use out of it, but if you like Swizz beats like me, you always like this type of delay. Actually, let me turn that up just a little bit louder. I like that because the delay kind of slows down as it goes. It's kind of an effect that I probably wouldn't use that often, but when I want that, this is really convenient because, I don't know, for some reason I really like this type of delay. Maybe it's just me though. Next one, I really like this. This one is inspired by Andy Timmons. So I really like this because it really stays out of the way of my lead guitar sound while still giving it some depth. It's a dark delay, but I really like that. So I'll let you hear it. So as you heard, it has a bit of coursing on there, and I think that just adds a little bit of air to it. Also, the width is up, so it really gives some stereo depth to your sound. To me, that's just a really nice, lush chorus that I would use on a lead or probably a chord sound. So this is like slightly distorted. If I hit it hard, you get more of that grit in there. But if it's light, it's nice also. So I really like that one. Let me switch to a lead sound and I'll show you a few other ones. Okay, the next one I'll do is wide fat guitar lead. So in this one, I'm using the tabbed multi-tap delay. So I have tap 1 on at 27 milliseconds, tap 2 at 50 milliseconds. You notice they're panned left and right. And then here, tab 3, I have about 417 milliseconds, and it's straight up the middle. These are a little bit down in volume and down in feedback. So the middle delay has lots of feedback on it. You might want to turn that up or down depending on your taste. And the ones on the side are, just with no feedback. So just with the sides, it sounds like this. It makes things fatter as opposed to dry. Just adds a little bit of width there. And then you add the tap in there. And that's for the depth. If you want some modulation, you can add that here. Like this. So give a slight coursing sound. Add a little bit more just so it's a little bit more prominent. You can hear it a little bit better. So you can hear the modulation a little bit better. I could actually crank that up a little bit more so it gets into annoying territory. That's way too much, but of course you can use that if you like. And I'll do one more. This one is ATS Lead. So this one I used the digital device, and here I have the repeats way up, 350 milliseconds here. I have the width way up, so it's really wide. And one thing I did here is the ducking. So that way when I'm playing, it's, just compressing my delays so it doesn't get in the way of my playing. And then when I'm not playing, it's, full on. And I also put some reverb in there and some vibrato because it's the 80s. It needs some chorusing in there. So if you hear that when I let go of the note, those delays really come in. Of course, you can turn that down all the way if you like. If you like that, or you can turn it all the way up. Maybe too much. Turn it down a little bit more. So you get the idea. I like it right around like 65 to maybe around between 60 and 70 was good for me. But of course, this depends on the input. So there you go. You can play with that. I think that's really cool for an 80s lead sound. And it really has lots of width and things like that. And of course, you can always adjust the wet and dry. And I'll show you one more. Okay, I switched back to a clean sound. And now I thought we'd use this E drone. So this one, if I play an E, all of these different comb filters here will resonate. So create kind of like a dreamy atmosphere, almost like I'm playing with the Indian instrument. Is it tambura? I might be pronouncing that wrong, or similar to like a sitar. So anyways, you'll hear some resonance. So here we go. So I think you could hear those kind of sounds that are kind of floating in there, and that's coming from these 4 resonators. And this is tuned to E, but you're probably wondering, like, how do I do this myself if I don't want it to be in the key of E? So I'll show you really quickly how you can do that. So just hit reload, puts everything back at default. So the first thing I want to do here is actually turn off the delay. I'm going to turn this wet all the way up just so we can hear it a little bit better. I'm going to turn all of these down like this, and I'll start with 1. Let's do this in the key of C. So I'll click here first, and you can just use this keyboard here to choose whichever note you want. So I'll do C1 for this, and then I'll hit C on my guitar and just turn the gain and feedback up to my taste. Let me turn the gain all the way up and then adjust the feedback. That seems about right. Turn it down. Do the same thing for frequency 2. Let's do another C. That's just 1 octave up. I like to use the harmonic series, so go up an octave, 5th, and I'll go up the 3rd, but you can do this however you like. That's pretty good. Now I'll go up a 5th. So let's see here. G. Do the same thing. I'll hit G this time. And now do the same thing in the last one here. Let's do an E for this. Let's see, that's 82. Actually, that's lower than the other one. Let me go up an octave here. That's the E. Hit OK. Now let's adjust the feedback again and hit E. Okay, so now I can choose whichever one of these I want. Usually I want to adjust the gain. If it's all the way up, it's probably going to clip, so this isn't good. I can hear some clipping, so I want to turn some of them down. Let me turn this down, all down by 4 or so. And then I can choose which metal I want up here. They all sound slightly different. Let's try this one. I can barely hear it with that. Let's try aluminum. It's okay. Chromium. That's okay. Cobalt. This one I used before. That one sounds alright. Can't hear that too well. Cadmium's alright. Tungsten. And bismuth. I think I like cadmium the best. Just a second. Give me a second. Let me tune my guitar a little bit. Okay. I apologize. These are a little bit old strings, so they're going out of tune. But moving on, the next thing we want to do here is, once we have that chosen, we'll go to delay. I'm going to turn the ping pong off, enable this again, and then listen to what it sounds like. I usually like to add a little bit of dry signal. And of course, adjust the delay to taste. I like to adjust the width to taste too. Make this wide. And then, once that's set and you think, oh, that's what I want, move up the feedback a little bit. Now, I set this to about 50%. And that's how I did that original E drone, but this one is in C major. Sloppy playing there, but you get the idea. And of course, you can adjust the gain and the feedback however you see fit if you want more of one tone or another. And of course, you don't even have to set these 2 notes. You can set them to any frequency if you want more of a rough, metallic sounding delay. So I just wanted to show you how you could do that. So that's it. If you have any questions about this, let me know. I might do another video about this in the future, and I'll try to put these all on the online exchange so you can download them yourself. If you like this, be sure to check out all the other plugins at melderproduction.com. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done that, and until next time, see you.